Hey guys, Zach again, and this guide is going to be all about dungeoneering. So, a lot of people have a lot of different views for the first weapon that you're going to get. In my opinion, the first chaotic that you're going to want to get is going to be the chaotic staff. Magic is ridiculously OP. The crystal bow is a good alternative that you can get relatively easily. Underground pass is a little bit of a pain. Regicide is a little bit of a pain, but roving elves is really quick. So it costs a little bit of money to repair your crystal bow at the start, but eventually that goes down to 180k. And you're gonna want to use crystal bow because it's cheap to repair. Chaotics are just so expensive. Royal crossbow and crystal bow are actually pretty awesome alternatives for range. So I usually suggest doing chaotic staff first. That being said, when I went to do QBD, I used about 1,000 brews, maybe more, trying to get my royal crossbow because I did not have. I had dragon banes, but I didn't have a bow that I could shoot the dragon banes with. So I would definitely recommend going for the staff still first, even though it was a struggle for me to get my royal pieces from QBD. The other things that you really want to look at buying is going to be the Scroll of Life for farming. That's a good one to get right away before you even get to 80. Your Bone Crusher is really, really good to get. You can get the upgrades if you want for the necklaces, because you can kite Bandos and Sarah around the room. It's pretty easy to do stuff like that. The Wasteless Herb is really nice to have, as well as the Smithing Scroll, because the Smithing Scroll, you're going to get a lot of bars from gargoyles. Gargoyle tasks are really good money for Ironman, and they drop a lot of bars. So if you can save some of those bars as you're smithing. I didn't do that early on my Ironman, and I kind of regret not getting that early on, just because it will help. 25% is a fourth more bars than what I've used so far, and I've probably done quite a few thousand of bars from gargoyles. So I would definitely look at getting that as well. Other than that, in dungeoneering, as you're training dungeoneering, there are two training ways that you can go. The way I did it is kind of like a hybrid of both. You can either do C1 or C6 smalls, and that's going to get you probably the fastest experience per hour is C6 smalls averaged out. The best way overall that you're going to get experience is to do C6 mediums on like your higher floors. You can do it on every single floor and you'll continue skilling at the same rate across the board. But what I usually try and do is like my first probably 20 to 25 floors, depending on how many you have open, just do C6 smalls. So like when you first start dungeoneering, you're working on getting your level up, and then as you get to like 26 plus for your floors, if you feel like it, you can do a full skilling in the dungeon, and at the end you can buy the hides. What you want to try and do is have two different ring setups as you're doing dungeoneering. Your first ring setup is going to be artisans leveled up on the ring, and the second one is going to be your gatherer setup on the ring. So as you're doing the entire dungeon, you want to have gatherer on so you can gain more resources, and then elk those resources to get more money at the end. And you'll use that money to buy the T1 hides from the shop guy, and then switch to your artisan ring before you start crafting them, and then start crafting the hides, and you'll save hides as you actually start crafting. So that's the way that I did a lot of my crafting. You can do fletching the same way. Fletching is a little bit different. It's not quite as fast for as far as experience goes, but you buy the logs, and then what you want to do is click on the log and hit spacebar and just keep going. Otherwise the ticks are terrible for how long it takes in dungeoneering. They really should patch that, but let's be honest, Jagex doesn't patch anything ever, so they're never going to patch that. But if you click on a log and then hit spacebar, you'll craft it, and then click on the next log and spacebar, you'll craft it. Because early on for dungeoneering, you're going to need a high fletching level to be able to make your magic weapons, because it's hard to try and wait for them to drop in dungeoneering. So I would say that's the way to go early on, so you can level your skills and make sure that you're able to use the best magic weapons that you can. So crafting and fletching are the two to focus on in dungeoneering. Other than that, I would say it's very open for loose interpretation. Some people might say that mediums are faster if you know how to dunge, but averaged out, mediums are less experienced dungeoneering wise per hour than smalls. But they do give you more like fishing pools and all the rest of that stuff where you get extra experience from the dungeon. So it's more worth it, just depending on what you guys want to go for. So this has been the Dungeoneering Guide. As far as purchasing stuff, I think that I covered most of that. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.